Kang the Conqueror lit a fire in 2021, turning Bronze Age books into modern market movers. Apocalypse was back in the conversation with collectors grabbing his first appearance fast, and horror indie titles had a moment. Low print runs, high demand, and even higher hopes. 2021, the comic market was electric. Between the multiverse madness sparked by Kang, new characters hitting the screen, and fresh horror stories coming from indie publishers, everything felt like it had potential. Collectors were chasing first appearances, low print runs, and anything tied to the next big MCU moment. From Kang's rise to Apocalypse comeback, and breakout titles from Boom and AWA Upshot, the spec game was running full throttle. But hype doesn't always last, and today we're looking back to see how those bets played out. Hey everyone, I'm Izzy from Comics with IzzyVerseNYC, and this is your Covrprice Top 10 Rewind. Today, we're jumping back to July 2021 when Kang ruled MCU buzz, horror indies were heating up, and collectors were grabbing keys like wildfire. We'll look at what these books were selling for back then and what they're going for now, and whether they held their value or fizzled out. And don't forget to make sure to like and subscribe to the Covrprice YouTube channel for more comic market throwbacks and collector insights. Let's get into the list, starting at number 10. We're starting off this list with an X-Men favorite. Back in 2021, Marvel Comics X-Factor number 6, Apocalypse's first appearance, saw a solid spike in value. Fans were pumped thanks to Marvel's Dark Ages miniseries and Apocalypse's fresh look in the comics. At the time, near mint copies were running for about $57, and a CGC 9.8 were hitting close to $600. Fast forward to today, prices have cooled off. That same raw copy now sells for around $30, and a graded 9.8 dropped to about $275. No new major push means this book is currently trending down. In 2021, speculators locked in on X-Factor number 6 thanks to Apocalypse getting a lot of attention between Dark Ages and the whole Core storyline. Folks were sure he was on the verge of a villain comeback. But Dark Ages didn't move the needle long term and things stalled. Still, with X-Men 97 around the corner and rumors swirling about Apocalypse having a major role, this book could heat up again. And if Marvel needs a big threat post-Secret Wars, Apocalypse checks every box. Might be worth grabbing while it's soft. The number 9 book was Marvel Comics Inhuman number 5, and got hot when Yelena Belova was gearing up for her big screen debut in Black Widow. Collectors were jumping on her first comic appearance, and prices reflected that buzz. Raw copies hit over $200, and CGC 9.8s were going for as much as $785. But now in 2025, even with Yelena holding her own in Thunderbolts, interest in the book has dipped. You can snag a near mint raw for under $50, and a graded 9.8 hovers around $175. Not bad, but clearly a down from where it was. In 2021, the Yelena hype was real. Between her cameo in Black Widow and Florence Pugh's stealing scenes, fans saw her as the new Black Widow. And Inhumans number 5 shot up fast. Now that she's had time to settle in the MCU, the market has cooled off since then. That early rush gave way to reality. But here's the thing, she's still active, rumored to lead the new Avengers, and she's got star power. The book may be down, but Yelena's not done. Long term, this has legs. Claiming the number 8 spot was the Bronze Age goodie in the Mighty Thor 245 from Marvel Comics. When the Loki finale dropped in 2021, it set off a Kane mania. Fans were scrambling for anything tied to him, and Thor 245
where He Who Remains first shows up, shot up big. Raw copies jumped to $160 just off speculation alone. But 4 years later, the Kang train has completely derailed. The movie plans changed, and so did collectors' interest. Now you can pick up a raw copy for about $15. That's a serious drop, and it puts this one firmly in the down category.
Back then, this book blew up fast. Everyone thought Thor 245 would be a key piece of Kang's MCU story, especially after Loki introduced He Who Remains. Problem is, Marvel's plans changed. Kang Dynasty got shelved, and fans moved on. So yeah, this one felt hard, but here's the thought. Kang's not necessarily gone forever. Marvel still has Loki Season 3 on the board, and time travel's never truly off the table. If that multiverse storyline ever loops back, this book could bounce back too.
Number 7 spot at 2021 was Ballistic #1 from Boom Studios, and it hit shelves and quickly built a following, especially the low-printed second print. It had a horror meets supernatural vibe that readers really craved, and the market took notice. Raw copies hit $44, and a 9.8 sold for nearly $100. But now, that same second print is going for about $3 raw, and slabs barely cracked $20. No adaptation, no buzz. It's safe to call this one down and collecting dust.
Ballistic had that fresh horror edge. Cullen Bunn's name helped too, and early copies move quick. Second prints always catch fire when there's demand, and back then this one looked promising, but like a lot of indie books, it just didn't stick. No follow-up heat, no show announcement, nothing to keep moving. Still, Boom has a track record for sleeper hits. If this ever gets optioned or revisited, collectors might wish to scoop it when it was just $3.
The Nice House on the Lake #1 from DC Black Label hit number 6 in 2021, and it was an instant hit. Titan was on fire from Something's Killing the Children, and fans jumped all over this new horror series. Raw copies were selling for $30, and a 9.8 pushed to up to $175. Fast forward to now, it's still critically loved, even nominated for a GLAAD award, but prices have slipped. Raw copies are down to about $11, and the CGC 9.8 now goes for just $35. It's a great story, but price-wise, it's still down.
This book had everything going for it. Buzz, a big-name writer, and real substance. It wasn't just another horror book. People thought this would be the one from DC Black Label to jump to TV. But here we are, 4 years later, and no announcement, no live action. Still strong read, and maybe that's what keeps it in print. But as a spec book, it's cool. That said, if a show ever happens, watch for this one to fly right back up.
At number 5 back in 2021, Never Never #1 from Heavy Metal. Never Never came out of nowhere and surprised collectors. It's twisted Peter Pan into a horror nightmare, and people loved how weird it got. Raw copies were hitting $30, and a 9.8 slab sold for $70. Today, it's a cult book more than anything else. Raw prices hover around $4, and even a CGC 9.8 goes for just $30. A solid drop, it's down, but still, it has its fans.
Heavy Metal pushed the envelope with this one. It was disturbing, fresh, and different. That shock factor carried it through the first wave, and collectors thought they were on to the next underground hit. But it didn't go beyond that. The miniseries wrapped, the trade came out, and the heat faded. Still, horror fans keep it alive. If Twisted Fairy Tales ever blows up again on screen, don't be shocked if this makes a comeback.
Kang is back at number 4 with Avengers 267. This spiked hard thanks to the first Council of Kangs, and fans were all in. Raw copies sold for $200, and a CGC 9.8 hit a jaw-dropping $950. Today, the Kang train has crashed. Raw copies now sit around $14, and even the graded 9.8 struggled to break $60. This book is way down and holding.
4 years ago, this felt like the future of the MCU. Council of Kangs? Sounds like a no-brainer. Everyone loaded up, expecting years of multiversal mayhem. But then reality hit, legal troubles, storylines changes, and Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, got scrapped. Now it's just another what could have been. Still, don't rule it out. Marvel loves to recycle ideas. One trailer could bring this back in no time.
Alongside 267, Avengers 269 popped in at number 3 in 2021 thanks to more Kang fever. Avengers 269 showcases a big battle between Kang and Immortus, and collectors were nuts for them. Raw copies hit $50, and a CGC 9.8 sold for around $200. Now in 2025, it's dropped big. Raw books sell for $8, and a CGC 9.8 averages out around $83. Still collectible, but clearly down.
This one was part of the Kang starter pack. Collectors wanted every version of him, and 269 gave you whole time travel conflict. It made sense to grab it then. But like the rest, it lost steam when Marvel pivoted away from Kang. That Kang versus Doom fight we all dreamed of doesn't look like it's happening. Still, Immortus could show up again, so don't toss this one out just yet.
Back in 2021, AWA's Chariot #1 took off at number 2 when news broke that Warner Brothers optioned it for a movie with Joseph Kosinski set to direct. Prices jumped. Raw copies were $40, and the 9.8 went for $66. Now, the film talk has vanished. Raw copies are down to $3, and CGC 9.8 sell for around $25. Another case of early hype fading out. It's down across the board.
This book had the look, the concept, and even the Hollywood name attached. Think Knight Rider meets Cold War spy thriller. It sounds like a slam dunk. But after that one press release, nothing. It's not even an AWA active development list. That said, all it takes is one streamer to circle back. So, yeah, it's cheap now, but it still has potential if Hollywood comes knocking on that door again.
Kang claimed the #1 top spot in 2021 with Avengers 2 from 2016. This book became a surprise hit. That stunning Alex Ross cover with multiple Kang variants made it a must-have. Raw copies reached $45, and a 9.8 topped at around $50. Not bad for a modern. As of 2025, this one cooled way down. Raw copies go for $2, and the CGC 9.8 dropped to about $40. That's a slight dip overall. Call it a soft down.
People jumped on this because of that Alex Ross cover alone. It had Kang, Ramatut, Immortus, Ireland, you named it. Combine that with Loki hype, and you had a modern book that felt important. Now, not so much, but the cover still slapped. And if the multiverse angle ever returns, this could rise again. Until then, it's an easy pickup if you just love cool Alex Ross art.
Back in 2021, Kang-related titles like Avengers 2 and Avengers 267 and 69 were flying off the shelves, while X-Factor #6 and indie hits like Ballistic and Nice House on the Lake caught collectors' attention. 4 years later, many have dropped as hype cooled, but some still hold promise today.
4 years later, it's clear speculation is a gamble. Some of these books hit quick highs, but without real follow-through, they couldn't hold the heat. The Kang storyline collapsed, horror hits fizzles without adaptation, and even books with movie buzz like Chariot just stall. But that's the game. Some of these are cheap again, which could mean opportunity if things shift. Whether you're collecting for value or the story, the key is knowing when the hype is real and when it's just noise. I hope you enjoyed this look back at July 2021. If you enjoy this content, please take a moment to like the video and leave a comment. And for more great weekly comic content, make sure you subscribe to the official Covrprice YouTube channel. They have the top 10 comics, the Shaker Report, and deep dives with the co-founders, Matt and John. If you want to track the prices of these books and thousands upon thousands of others, you have to check out Covrprice.com. It is the absolute best resource for real-time comic book sales data from multiple online marketplaces. See their current top 10 list and check out all the market movers and shakers. Once again, I'm Izzy, and you can find me on my channel, Comics with IzzyVerseNYC. You can follow me on all social media platforms under IzzyVerseNYC. I'm close to reaching 20,000 subscribers on YouTube and 2,000 followers on Instagram, so go ahead and subscribe and follow. And I will see you on the next show next week, where I think I'm going to be on locations. But thanks for stopping by for this week. Until then, Excelsior.